What happens when a massive submarine, packed with advanced technology and an experienced crew, simply disappears? In the depths of our oceans, some of the most sophisticated vessels ever built have vanished without warning, taking their crews and their secrets to the bottom. In this video, we'll investigate 4 submarines that disappeared without a trace, and how years of searching finally uncovered their tragic stories. Welcome to Shipwreck History. Submarines represent one of humanity's greatest technological achievements, vessels designed to operate in an environment that can crush steel like an empty soda can. But this capability comes with unique dangers that surface ships never face. When problems develop hundreds or thousands of feet below the surface, there's no quick escape to safety. Unlike surface vessels, submarines operate in a world of near-total isolation. Their crews work in an environment where the enormous pressure of the deep ocean constantly tests every hull seam, every pipe joint, and every seal. A small problem can cascade into catastrophe in minutes. Communication with the surface becomes increasingly difficult at depth, and in many cases, rescue is simply impossible. Yet despite these risks, modern submarines continue to prowl the ocean, carrying out vital missions in an environment that remains as unforgiving today as it was when the first submarines ventured beneath the surface. The stories we're about to explore reveal how quickly things can go wrong when operating in this hostile environment, and why some submarines that slip beneath the surface never return. The USS Thresher was America's most advanced nuclear submarine when it was launched at Portsmouth Naval Shipyard in 1960. A technological marvel, it could dive deeper and move quieter than any submarine before it. Built during the height of the Cold War, the Thresher represented the future of the U.S. Navy's undersea fleet, designed to hunt Soviet submarines in the ocean's depths. Capable of diving deeper than 1,300 feet, she carried advanced sonar systems that could detect enemy vessels at unprecedented ranges. Her nuclear reactor allowed her to remain submerged for months, while her specially hardened hull let her operate at depths that would crush earlier submarines. These capabilities made her loss all the more shocking to Navy officials who believed she represented an unparalleled leap in submarine design. On April 9, 1963, the Thresher began deep diving tests off the coast of Massachusetts, returning to sea after months of extensive overhaul work at the shipyard. These post-maintenance trials would certify the submarine for continued service. The submarine was accompanied by the USS Skylark, a rescue ship monitoring its progress from above. At 8 a.m., the Thresher began its descent into the Atlantic's cold depths. No one aboard realized these would be their final hours. The first sign of trouble came at 9:13 a.m. The Skylark received a garbled message indicating the Thresher was having minor difficulties. Minutes later, another transmission reached the surface. Unusual noises were coming from within the submarine. The Skylark's crew struggled to understand the increasingly distorted messages as the Thresher continued to descend.
She sent us a message saying that she was experiencing minor difficulties, had positive up angle attempting to blow, and communications were kind of fuzzy at that time. The captain took the UQC and asked them 3 times if they were in control, and there was no reply.
At 9:17 a.m., the Skylark's sonar operators detected an ominous sound, a loud crushing noise followed by the distinct signature of a submarine breaking apart. The Thresher, with all 129 men aboard, had imploded under the immense pressure of the deep ocean. In the aftermath, the Navy launched its largest search operation to date. Despite knowing the Thresher's last reported position, the extreme depth of 8,400 feet and limitations of 1963 search technology made the operation incredibly difficult. 5 months later, debris from the Thresher was finally discovered scattered across the ocean floor. Navy photographs revealed the sub's conning tower, lying separated from the main hull sections with nuclear components fortunately remaining sealed and intact. The investigation determined a likely cascade of failures, starting with a pipe joint rupture in the engine room, leading to electrical failures and an inability to surface. For the first time, the Navy had to confront the reality that its most advanced submarine was vulnerable to catastrophic structural failure at operational depths. In response, the Navy established its SubSafe program, implementing rigorous new standards for submarine construction and maintenance. This program has prevented similar tragedies. No SubSafe certified submarine has ever been lost. The 129 men of the Thresher would be the last to perish in such a catastrophic submarine failure. The French submarine Minerve was a sleek diesel-electric vessel, part of France's modern submarine fleet during the Cold War era. Launched in 1958 as part of France's Daphne-class submarines, the Minerve was designed for coastal patrol and anti-submarine warfare with advanced sonar capabilities for its time. At just 57 meters long and displacing 800 tons submerged, these nimble vessels could operate in shallow waters where larger submarines couldn't maneuver, making them perfect for the confined waters of the Mediterranean. On January 27, 1968, she departed the port of Toulon for what should have been a routine Mediterranean patrol. With 52 crew members aboard, the Minerve headed into deteriorating weather conditions, a decision that would prove fatal. As the submarine approached the French coast, it encountered a fierce winter storm. Wind speeds had reached nearly 100 kilometers per hour, churning up massive waves. At 7:55 a.m., the Minerve's commander reported his position and estimated time of arrival back to port. This would be the last time anyone heard from the vessel. When the Minerve failed to arrive as scheduled, French naval authorities launched an immediate search operation. Despite deploying significant resources, including U.S. submarine search specialists, no trace of the Minerve could be found. The submarine had vanished in waters over 2,000 meters deep, taking all 52 crew members with her. The Minerve's disappearance came during heightened Cold War tensions in the Mediterranean. Soviet vessels regularly tracked NATO submarines in these waters, leading to early speculation about potential collision with another submarine. French authorities investigated multiple theories, from catastrophic mechanical failure to explosive decompression. The military significance of the region meant the Minerve was likely performing sensitive operations when she vanished, adding layers of complexity and secrecy to the investigation. For over 50 years, the Minerve's location remained one of the Mediterranean's most enduring mysteries. Families of the lost crew members pressed authorities to continue the search, refusing to let their loved ones be forgotten. In 2019, using advanced sonar technology and new data analysis of the original search area, investigators finally located the wreck of the Minerve, broken into 3 large pieces on the seabed.
The wreckage of the French submarine Minerve, which sank more than 50 years ago with 52 crew members on board, has finally been found.
The discovery revealed the submarine had suffered a catastrophic implosion, likely after diving too deep while trying to stabilize in the severe storm conditions. The extreme depth and pressure had preserved the wreck, offering the families a final confirmation of their loved one's resting place after 5 decades of uncertainty. Following the discovery, French naval authorities declared the area around the wreck an official maritime memorial, protected from disturbance or salvage operations. Finding the Minerve's final location allowed maritime historians to fill a significant gap in understanding Cold War submarine operations in the Mediterranean and officially bring closure to its story. The San Juan was one of Argentina's most capable submarines, as a German-built diesel-electric vessel that had served proudly in the nation's Navy since 1985. But in November 2017, this veteran submarine would vanish in circumstances that exposed the dangers lurking within even modern submarine operations. On November 15th, the San Juan was traveling from Ushuaia to its home port of Mar del Plata when it reported a critical problem. Seawater had entered through the submarine's snorkel, causing a short circuit in one of the battery systems. The crew said they had contained the issue and were continuing north. Within hours, all contact was lost. The San Juan's situation was particularly precarious because of the submarine's design. As a diesel-electric vessel, it needed to regularly surface or use its snorkel to run diesel engines that recharged its batteries. If the submarine snorkel system failed while taking on water, the crew would face a cascading crisis: limited battery power, potential hydrogen buildup from damaged batteries, and diminished ability to control depth. Naval experts believe the crew likely fought desperately to save their vessel during those critical hours after their final communication. The submarine's emergency ascent system should have allowed it to surface in case of disaster. Their failure to do so suggests the situation deteriorated catastrophically fast. What followed was one of the largest submarine search operations in history. 13 nations dispatched ships, aircraft, and underwater vehicles to search a vast area of the South Atlantic. For weeks, families of the crew members maintained vigil at Mar del Plata Naval Base, hoping for news about the lost crew. The first clue to the San Juan's fate came when sensors detected an unusual sound near the submarine's last known position, what experts would later identify as an underwater explosion consistent with a catastrophic implosion. But without the exact location, the search continued. 1 year later, the ocean finally gave up its secret. A remote-operated vehicle discovered the San Juan in a deep underwater canyon, 920 meters below the surface. The submarine lay in pieces, confirming fears of a violent implosion. Investigation revealed that the battery fire had likely triggered a chain of events that sent the vessel beyond its safe operating depth. The loss of the San Juan highlighted how quickly mechanical problems can turn deadly in the undersea environment. Even with modern technology and international rescue capabilities, those precious hours between first warning and final catastrophe meant the difference between life and death for the sub's crew. The INS Dakar represented Israel's growing naval power in the late 1960s. A former British submarine extensively modernized for Israeli service, she was making her maiden voyage home to Haifa when disaster struck. The journey would become one of the Cold War's most mysterious submarine disappearances. The Dakar began its life as HMS Totem, a British T-class submarine that served in the Royal Navy from 1943 through the end of World War II. Israel purchased the vessel in 1965 as part of its naval expansion program, extensively modernizing the submarine with advanced electronics, expanded fuel capacity, and a streamlined sail design that increased its underwater speed and range. After extensive modifications were completed in late 1967, the Dakar's crew spent several weeks conducting rigorous sea trials in the North Sea, testing the submarine's new systems and ensuring it could meet Israel's demanding operational requirements. These trials included deep diving tests, emergency response training, and extended submerged navigation exercises that pushed both vessel and crew to their limits. In January 1968, after successfully completing its training exercises and final systems checks, the Dakar departed Portsmouth, England for its 3-week journey to Haifa, Israel, where it would officially join the Israeli naval fleet. Her journey home wasn't merely a delivery voyage, it was a strategic movement watched closely by multiple nations. On January 24th, the Dakar was crossing the Mediterranean when the submarine's last routine transmission came at 6:10 a.m. All okay, no problems. No one could have predicted these would be the final words ever heard from the Dakar. When the submarine failed to make its next scheduled transmission, Israeli forces launched an urgent search operation. Cold War tensions complicated the effort. Soviet vessels shadowed search ships, while questions arose about possible hostile action. Despite an extensive search involving multiple nations, not a single trace of the Dakar could be found. What made the Dakar's disappearance particularly baffling was that she vanished during what should have been a routine transit in relatively favorable weather conditions, with an experienced crew and no distress signals transmitted. For 31 years, the sub's fate remained unknown. Theories ranged from mechanical failure to collision with a Soviet vessel. The only clue came in 1969, when fishermen found the Dakar's emergency buoy off the coast of Gaza, hundreds of miles from her planned route. Finally, in 1999, modern sonar technology located the Dakar's wreck, lying at a depth of 3,000 meters, between Crete and Cyprus. The submarine was found broken into, with debris scattered across the seafloor. The discovery revealed the Dakar had likely exceeded her safe diving depth, possibly while trying to evade detection in this strategically sensitive region. Even after a thorough investigation of the wreckage, the exact cause of her sinking remains unknown. The wreck's location, far from her intended course, only deepened the mystery of what caused this proud vessel to dive to her destruction. In May 2000, a deep-sea recovery operation successfully recovered the submarine's bridge section, a massive 22-ton piece of the vessel's conning tower. That was then transported to Israel and incorporated into the memorial at Haifa Naval Base, along with the emergency buoy. To this day, the full truth of what happened in the Dakar's final hours remains lost to the sea. The discovery of these lost submarines reveals how far deep-sea search technology has advanced. Modern sonar systems can now map the ocean floor in incredible detail, while autonomous underwater vehicles probe depths that were once impossible to reach. These capabilities have helped solve maritime mysteries that puzzled investigators for decades. Despite these technological advances, some submarines remain hidden in the vast expanse of our oceans. The extreme depths, combined with complex underwater terrain and strong currents, continue to challenge even our most sophisticated search equipment. In many cases, finding a submarine wreck means searching thousands of square miles of seafloor, like looking for a needle in a haystack, but in complete darkness and under crushing pressure. These challenges explain why vessels like the Minerve and Dakar remained unfound for so many years, and why other submarines lost during the Cold War may never be discovered. Each of these submarines tells a story of how quickly disaster can strike in the underwater environment. From the Thresher's cascade of mechanical failures to the San Juan's battery crisis, these losses transformed how we approach submarine safety and underwater search capabilities. While advanced technology has helped us locate these vessels, their discoveries serve one crucial purpose: bringing closure to the families of submariners who never made it home. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share. It goes a long way in helping us grow our channel. Let us know in the comments what you think about these stories and what shipwrecks you want us to cover next. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, and hit the bell to get notified when we upload new videos. Until next time, keep exploring.